Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel, to the Wonderland. It is again coffee time, and today I bring you finally my November wrap up. So bear with me, November was not my best month at all. I was really busy. The first 2 weeks of the month I was busy pre-recording videos for my two channels because I was gonna go on holidays and I didn't want to leave the channels without any content. Also, I had to finish up things at work and at home before going on holidays, the drill, so I was really busy. And then the 2 weeks that I was on holidays, I was also busy doing things with my family and friends, and so I didn't end up reading as much as I wanted to. However, I did get to read 7 books, but most of them are audiobooks, not gonna lie, because I thought, okay, you don't have time to read right now because you have a lot of things to do, so why don't you get a couple of audiobooks and listen to those instead. At least you don't feel like a total failure at the end of the month. Alright, so let's start with a list of books that I did listen/read in the month of November. I'm going to mention the books by rating, starting with the lowest rating and then ending up with my highest rating ones. Since I am a little bit obsessed with coffee, we are going to rate the books in coffee mugs. The first book that I'm going to mention, it is the first audiobook that I listened to, and that is Lucky in Love by Casey West, and I ended up giving this book a rating of 2 coffee mugs. Lucky in Love is the story about a girl, and she's of course in love with a boy, and her life is not, in the best place. And one day she decides to listen to this woman that works at the supermarket and buy a lottery ticket, and she doesn't think about it anymore until she discovers that she did win the lottery. And the book deals with, what happens when you win the lottery, how do your friendships and relationships with your family change. The thing about this book is it was cute, it had a couple of good ideas and intentions, but it just didn't really was anything so special, and it was dragging a little bit at times, and there were some eye-rolling moments, and that's why I ended up giving it only 2 coffee mugs. Then I made the mistake of deciding to start listening to a trilogy by Stephanie Perkins, and that is Anna and the French Kiss. Now, boy, I shouldn't have done this, but anyway, I got Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door, which is the second book in this trilogy, and I listened to both of these audiobooks and I ended up giving to both of them only a rating of 2 coffee mugs, even though I was doubting if I should just give it a 1 coffee mug rating. The thing with these books is they are too predictable. They think that cheating and things like that are perfectly fine, and the main characters are not able to get their S together, and it is very frustrating. Even just listening to it, I would not have been able to read these books in a physical edition because I wouldn't have been able to. But because it was an audiobook, and I was doing things around the house and stuff, I was able to listen to them. But for real, like no. I don't think I'm gonna bother to listen to the last audiobook because it's just not for me, let's be honest. And please do not take this personally. If you really love these books, it's good, you love the books, I just don't like them. I'm not saying it's the worst books that I've ever read, but they're just not for me. I just couldn't connect with the characters. It just didn't make it for me. So basically, Anna and the French Kiss is about a girl that's spoiled, and she's been sent to France for a studying program, and she hates everything, and she's supposed to be the girlfriend of this guy back in the USA, but they are not really a couple. She just thinks that they are. And when she gets to France, she gets to know this super cute guy that is his origin is from England, but he has a French name, and he was born in the US, or I don't know. I'm super confused because this guy was just a mix of a lot of weird stuff. And anyway, she just falls in love with this guy, but this guy has a girlfriend. But you think Anna would stop thinking about him? Well, girl, no. She's obsessed, that psycho, and all she can think about is him. And she meets with him all the time, even though he has a girlfriend. and I don't know, it was just not good. Lola and the Boy Next Door. Oh boy. It's this girl that has a boyfriend that is way older than her, and her parents are adoptive parents, and it is a male-male marriage, and she lives with them, and you know, she has a bad relationship with her biological mother, and she has this older boyfriend, like I said, and then suddenly the guy that used to live across from her street, that moved out I think 2 years ago, comes back, and all of these feelings come back inside of her. And like I said, it's just not for me. Like, I just thought the main character was just dumb. Let's just be plain honest. I just thought she was just dumb. Then I read The Forgotten Room by Ann Troop, and I was hoping it was gonna be a really cool mystery thriller, and it just fell flat for me. So I ended up giving this book only 2 coffee mugs, and the reason for it being that the idea was cool. I did like the characters, and the author did take a lot of time for us, you know, to get to know all the different characters and everything. But for some reason, there was something about the way she was describing everything that was just so boring to me. Even though the main idea and the main plot was interesting, all of these descriptions just kept me, you know, yawning. And by the end of the book, as it happens with many thrillers, I was not shocked, I was not surprised. These twists and turns and things that are supposed to happen in a thriller to make it really exciting and good were just not there. This book is about a woman that is going through a lot of struggles. Her boyfriend recently died, and before he died, she discovered that her sister had been sleeping with him, and so she's in a very dark place, and so she decides that she needs to, you know, completely change her life, and she accepts a job in a very weird house to take care of an old man because she's a nurse, so they want to employ her as the private nurse for this old man. But when she gets to the house, she realizes that everything is very weird, and she doesn't really understand why they need a nurse, because there is another woman in that house that is already taking care of everything. And then things start to happen, people get murdered, and you know, this is a thriller, so there's investigations and who murdered this person and all of that, and a lot of secrets from the past starts to get unburied. And I mean, I like the plot, you know, like as an idea, but I just think the whole execution of the story and the descriptions were a little bit too dragging and boring for me. Maybe it's just not my writing style, so I'm probably not gonna read any more thrillers from this author. I'm sorry, it's just not for me. Then I read Jack of Hearts by Rosen Lev AC, and I have to say, I got this book on my Kindle because I had read What If It's Us, and I have loved it so much. We'll get to that in this video as well. And so this book was suggested to me by Amazon, and it did mention that it was a little bit more adult, you know, with more sex content and a little bit more, like, you know, intense when it comes to content. Oh boy, I didn't know it was gonna be that intense and that specific about sexual relationships. I mean, not that I'm scared about sexual content, but it's just something I'm not normally used to read, because I don't normally read like erotic novels or things like that. And I did like some of the ideas and some of the messages that this book was trying to send. So Jack of Hearts is a story about this boy who is gay, and he's very comfortable with his sexuality, and he is always, you know, wearing extravagant things. Extravagant, some people consider it extravagant, like makeup, even though he's a boy and things like that. And he's very open about sexual relationships, and everybody thinks that he's having this crazy wild life, and he just lets the rumors spread because he thinks it's fun. So one day his best friend asks him if he wants to write a column in her blog about you know, sex and love advice. But this has some consequences, because his answers to these people's questions are very raw and very to the point and very descriptive when it comes to sex and sexual intercourse. And so of course the principal of the school is not happy, plus Jack starts to get sort of like little notes from someone that it's kind of stalking him, and everything gets a little bit complicated from here. Now, even though I did enjoy this book a lot, I only gave it 3 coffee mugs because I think there was something missing for me to, you know, give it 4 or 5. Even though I read it pretty quickly because I was like invested and interested in the story, and even though the message is good, you know, to accept yourself, your sexuality, and not be afraid of these things, I just think there was something that was missing, and that's why I only gave it 3 coffee mugs instead of more. Another book that I only gave 3 coffee mugs is Unfiltered by Lily Collins. And don't fall into the trap of eating disorders, you know, just also not just the body, but she also, you know, mentions to accept all of your quirks, like all the things that make you you, because it doesn't matter if it's something physical that you can see or something related to your personality. Just accept yourself as you are, because basically that's the only way that you're gonna be happy. So she's sending very valuable messages to probably, you know, impressionable young women that are reading this book, and I think that's something very positive. However, I think the book was very short and that she could have, you know, went a little bit deeper into this topic. Even though she did send really good messages and there are really good quotes in this book, I think she could have, you know, dig a little bit deeper into the topics and provided with a little bit more of information, and, you know, made kind of like a more dense book, because it feels like a very quick, very little memoir with some, you know, life advice. And the book that got 5 coffee mugs, and it got only 5 because I couldn't give it more, it's What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I got this pretty book while I was in England, and I knew I wanted to read it right away because Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda was one of my favorite books so far this year, so I knew I wanted to read this, and oh boy did I love it. It's one of the best books I've read this year. I think this one beats Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda because it was the cutest thing ever. It was fantastic. I was hooked. Like, I just couldn't put it down. I just couldn't. I needed to read it as fast as possible. You know, this feeling when you're reading something and you really want to finish it because you really want to know what happens, but at the same time you're sad because you know you're gonna have to say goodbye to the characters because the book is ending. This is one of those books. And it's also one of those books that, you know, I would just love just to pick it up again and read it again, and, you know, I would love it again. And I have to control myself not to do that because I still have a lot that I want to read before the end of the year and in 2019. But it was that good. It was that good. We follow the story of Arthur and Ben, and they meet outside a post office by chance, and they don't know that they are perfect for each other. So they basically meet for like a couple of minutes, and then they separate without exchanging phone numbers or emails or anything. And so they both kind of think, you know, what if I find this guy? What if I would have asked him for his number? What would have happened? And it is absolutely lovely. I mean, this book and this story is amazing. And Dylan is Ben's best friend, and he's my favorite character in this book. He's just hilarious. There's also some jokes related to Harry Potter here, which, let's be honest, also made me love this book a lot. And I absolutely loved it. If you're looking for something that is romantic but also fun and, you know, like keeps you hooked, and something maybe similar to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, this is definitely a book for you. And now, please, can we get a movie of this book? That would be fantastic. Alright guys, so these were the 7 books that I listened to / read in the month of November. I know it's not much, but considered everything that was going on in my life, I'm glad I even got to a couple of books. Let me know down below what you thought about the books that I mentioned in this video. Thanks so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. All my other social medias listed down below for you guys, and I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!